Are you still struggling with anxiety, depression, fatigue, brain fog, thinking that your brain is broken? It is not the case at all. There is the secret brain code. The actual reason is that one of the most essential biochemical pathways is not working, and the secret switch to it is called MTHFR. Hello, my fellow brain owners. My name is Dr. Shalts. I'm a board-certified psychiatrist and the author of Brain Technology Approach. And now we are going to see an amazing movie about the secret switch, MTHFR.
She has done everything right. She sleeps. She eats well. She has seen the doctors, and the tests come back normal. And yet, the fatigue that no coffee touches, the fog that sits between her and the world, the anxiety with no address, the headaches, the low, gray mood that arrives without being invited. She asks the only question that matters to her, the same question millions of people whisper to themselves in the dark. Why is this happening to me? To answer her, we have to go somewhere no scan can follow. We have to go inside, past the skin, past the cell, all the way down to a single, silent decision being made in her body, billions of times a second. Every cell in your body carries the same instruction manual, the very same. 3 billion letters, copied perfectly, into nearly every cell you own. The cell in your eye, the cell in your heart, the cell deep in your brain. Identical instructions. And yet a brain cell never becomes a liver. A heart cell never becomes skin. Each one reads the same book and somehow knows to live a completely different life. How? How does a single library of instructions become 1,000 different kinds of cell, each playing its own part in perfect time? And then, far below, on a single strand of DNA, something lands. A speck of gold. Tiny, deliberate. It settles onto the strand like a hand placed gently on a page, and everything changes. Picture your genome as a library, not a shelf, not a room. A library the size of a city, billions of books, stretching past the horizon in every direction. Every book is a gene, an instruction, a possibility. The recipe for an eye, for a hormone, for a feeling. But here is the secret. In any single cell, almost every book stays closed. A skin cell never opens the books for memory. A brain cell never opens the books for bone. If every book were read at once, the result wouldn't be a person, it would be chaos. So who decides which books are open and which stay shut? These do. Those specks of gold, drifting through the library, settling on the pages. They are not the words, they are the editors. Land on a book, and it falls silent. Lift away, and it can speak again. We have a name for these golden editors, but hold that name for now. Just remember this. Every page that is open, every gene that is allowed to play, somewhere, one of these decided it was so. The golden editors don't appear from nothing. They are made, down here, in a factory that never sleeps, buried deep beneath the city of the cell. Watch the trains arrive, green cargo, glowing softly. This is folate, the raw material, carried in from everything you eat. Leafy greens, lentils, liver. It arrives at the gates as raw, unusable ore. And here, at the heart of the plant, stands the master engineer. The one machine that turns raw folate into the finished, active form your body can actually use. Its name is MTHFR. Say it however you like. Most people just call it the engineer. The engineer takes the green ore and refines it. And out of that line come the golden editors, the methyl groups, packaged, loaded onto messenger trucks, and sent racing up through the city, up to the library, out to every gene that needs an answer. When this factory runs well, the whole genome lights up in perfect order. The right books open, the right books close. Mood is steady, energy is clean, the mind is clear. This is you, working exactly as designed. But factories are built from blueprints. And the blueprint for this one comes in slightly different versions, passed down through families, written into the gene called MTHFR. In some of us, a great many of us, one line on that conveyor runs slower. This is a polymorphism, a common, ordinary variation. Now listen carefully, because this is the part everyone gets wrong. The machine is not broken. The factory has not failed. The belt simply moves slower than the blueprint next door. A little less folate gets refined. A few fewer golden editors leave the line. The messenger trucks go out a little emptier than they should. For 1 minute you'd never notice, but this factory runs every second of every day for an entire lifetime. And a small shortage, repeated billions of times, that adds up. Far above in the library, pages that should have opened stay closed. Just slightly, just enough. Because nothing in the body stands alone. Everything is connected. When the golden editors run short, the shortage doesn't stay in one place. It spreads, like a power company quietly lowering the voltage across an entire city. In the streets of the brain, the blue electrical rivers of thought begin to run thin. Signals that should leap now hesitate. This is the fog, the slow word, the thought that won't quite arrive. At the chemical plants that make your mood, serotonin, dopamine, the supply lines tighten. The low mood, the anxiety with no cause. And down a side street, a worker has been waiting for a shipment that's running late. His name is homocysteine. With no editors to move him along, he piles up, restless, anxious, in everybody's way. When he accumulates, he puts strain on the heart and the vessels themselves. Across town, the detox crews slow, and yesterday's toxins linger longer than they should. The hormone schedules drift out of time. The immune guards, undersupplied and on edge, start swinging at shadows, overreacting to things that were never threats. Even the night shift repair teams clock in late, so sleep stops doing its quiet, healing work. No single alarm. No single failure, just a whole city running a quarter step behind, which from the inside feels exactly like, why is this happening to me? So it would be easy, satisfying even, to point at the engineer and say, there is the villain, the bad gene, the thing that's wrong with me. But that would be a mistake. Because MTHFR is not the villain of this story. MTHFR doesn't decide whether the music plays. It only changes how efficiently the orchestra plays it. A slower factory is simply an orchestra that needs a better conductor, better tempo, better support, better conditions. And here is the part that should change everything for the woman in the kitchen. You are the conductor. Your choices, what you eat, how you sleep, how you move, how you carry your stress, those are the baton. The gene sets the instrument. Lifestyle determines the music. So we go back down to the factory, not to rebuild it, but to support it. We bring the engineer the materials already refined, activated folate, the methyl form the slow line struggled to make. Now the work it found hard is simply handed over, ready to use. We send in the partners that keep the line moving. B12, B6, the quiet cofactors that let every reaction find its rhythm. And then the things no pill replaces. Real food, full of color. The deep greens, the bright vegetables, the whole ingredients the factory was built to run on. Deep sleep, when the night crews do their finest repair work. Movement, which lays fresh track and builds new roads. The construction crews of neuroplasticity, returning to the streets. Sunlight and calm and connection, which steady the whole grid. And the lowering of stress, which takes the body's foot off the brake. None of it forces the factory faster. It simply clears the road, fills the warehouses, and lets the engineer do what it has always known how to do. Watch the city now. The messenger trucks roll out full again. The blue rivers of thought run bright and quick. The library breathes, books opening and closing in their proper order. Homocysteine, the anxious worker, finally gets his shipment and moves along. The fog lifts, the mood lifts, the energy returns. Not because anyone replaced the engineer, but because at last, someone gave him what he needed. The golden particles you've been watching drift through every scene, from the very first strand of DNA, to the library, to the factory, to the streets of the brain. Those were never decoration. They were always the methyl groups, the editors, the quiet decision made billions of times a second, of which part of you gets to play. This is what it means to understand the body, not as a list of broken parts, but as one connected system, where a single, slow factory can be heard all the way up in a person's mood, and a few right choices can be felt all the way back down. MTHFR is just one chapter. There are many more to come. Your DNA is not your destiny. It is only the script. Methylation is the director.